can I add something here? I think it feels terrible for the people who died, obviously. Very, very bad, heartbreaking. Some people will never come back to their homes again. They won't see their family members again. This is so heartbreaking. Just a month ago in India, where I'm from, 22 doctors were arrested, Muslim doctors, all of them. Many of them with PhDs, some of them gynecologists from a university, from Islamic University, where they had stored 3,000 kilograms of eggs. Okay, some of these Muslim doctors were women gynecologists, heart surgeons, things like that. And one of them blew themselves up and ended up killing 15 Indian citizens in Delhi last month. Okay, and there are other 20 or 30 doctors who are still on the run. These are medical doctors we're talking about. They're supposed to save human lives. And here we have people killing. They were practicing bombing and things like that after their work, after 4 p.m. Imagine how dedicated they were. And some of them even had children at home. They were less in love with the children. They were more in hate.
That's what Islamists do, Shiva. That's exactly what Islamists do. Doctors.
Yeah, around that. I guess my point is these guys were not fighting for Palestine, because in India, the Palestine issue, right? They were just killing Hindus and other religions. This is not an Israel-Palestine issue. This is not the killings in Paris from 2016, where 150 people died, right? Or Nice, where the truck driver just ran over a bunch of 80 people or so. The bombings and the killings in Moscow, right? 9/11. I mean, this list goes on and on and on. And yet, we're supposed to believe that Islam is a religion of peace and we're Islamophobes for saying these things. And how many people have to die? I don't get it anymore. It's not all Muslims, but it is all Muslim.
The problem is that's huge silence from the moderate Muslims. I don't see them going in the street and chanting, "Not in our name, Islam is against this." It's silence. And that is the problem that I have with moderate Muslims, that they allow it and they're quiet about it, while every Jew needs to defend all other Jews. And in every pro-Palestinian demonstration, you will have a few useful idiots.
One, I said that you can go to the YouTube. One, I said that you can go to the YouTube and see the video. The Bassam Youssef, the Egyptian.
That guy's amazing, now, Eid Bassam. Have you seen that guy? He condemns. Eid Bassam.
Where are the large protests, though, in city centers? 1 or 2 here and there is not, moderates who say Islam is a religion of peace getting out and saying "not in our name," and that we condemn this. There's no mass scale protests.
I want to quickly pile on to what Shiva mentioned here. First of all, point number 1 should not take.
Okay.
It should not take too long to feel sorry for something like this. I'm a practicing Hindu from India. I'm nowhere related to this, but I feel for you. And I just want to say that whatever happened, Shiva mentioned it even better. This should not have happened. And my condolences to your community, and I feel sorry for what has happened. Point number 2, a lot has been said, so I'm going to just make 2 points just to contribute to the conversation. We need to come out of our shells and we need to accept the fact that the moderates are the biggest problem. Just like someone else mentioned here, the radicals are not the problem. They're out in the street and they're wearing their opinion on their sleeve, and they're being very, very clear about what they're doing, why they're doing, quoting the scriptures and the verses, and only a blind person or a foolish person or a combination of both would be, stupid enough to ignore that. But the bigger problem is the moderates. Those who say it's not our religion, it's not Islam, it's not this, it's not that. They know exactly what they're doing, because they know when the terrorists come to knocking on their doors, slitting their throats, they will be spared and their neighbors won't be spared. they're being hypocritical and they are being munafiq, which is haram in Islam. They know they're just biding their time because it's never going to hit them. And those are the selfish people we need to stay away from. Those are the people, those are the enablers who will go and pay money to the mosques, knowing that their kafir friends and neighbors are going to be killed. And when push comes to shove, they're going to lie through their teeth and get them killed. That has happened. And this is not a point of just like weaving out a story. This has happened in Kashmir. This has happened in several parts of India. In the past few years, we have seen cases when neighbors, well-meaning neighbors, who had taken loans from their Hindu brothers and sisters in their own community, had been friends for more than 20, 25 years, snitched on their neighbors and got them killed. And in fact, in some cases, killed their Hindu friends themselves. So first of all, we need to understand the definition of moderates. There are very, very few moderates. Most of them are radicals. Some of them are out in the streets. Some of them are working in institutions like Shiva mentioned. They're trained gynecologists, they're trained doctors. So we need to come out of this shell and smell the coffee. That's point number 2. Point number 3 is we're expecting a little too much. I think we're at a stage, just like someone mentioned earlier, this is an SOS related stage. Things have gone too far. Imagine a community of, they're saying we're a community of 3 billion people, followers of Islam and whatnot. What have you done? 90% of the people on the Interpol's red notice list come from one community. Have you ever sat down and thought about it? When you go to your mosques, when you go to these institutions and take funding from different people, when you apply for asylum, go to a different country for a better life, do you ever sit down and think and talk within your community there is something wrong and we need to reform it? The problem is, the fact of the matter is, you're incapable of reform because you think that we don't need to reform. Because at the end of the day, when push comes to shove, if you're not going to get killed, why do you even bother? So these are the realities, I think, as non-Muslims, we need to be very, very aware of. And it took me a long time to kind of realize that and smell the coffee. And I hope a lot of other people in this room do too. And we need to just take these people as what they are. They will lie through their teeth. To Al-Taqiyya, they will play the victim card. And when push comes to shove, when they're put towards a corner, they will say all these things that people like Arabi and other people have mentioned. They will issue rape threats, they will say bad things, and they will just leave the room. Their purpose of coming in these rooms is not to listen, not to talk, only derail the conversation. My challenge is, with these people, turn the chats off and don't invite them on the stage. See how many of them sit in the audience to listen. None of them will.
Okay, so hey everybody.
Really good, Vendic. I just want to say very good intervention. Thank you.
Everybody who's been touched by the strategy, just sending you good energy, and I hope people who have been injured recover quickly. And anyway, just Vindic, to your point really quickly, I think in principle you're actually incorrect, because if we're talking about the actual moderate Muslims, we need to be welcoming and promoting them. The problem is, though, it is extremely difficult because of the nature of the Islam. It's extremely difficult.
Fucking loser.
Almost
That never has a Wi-Fi connection.
Possible to differentiate somebody who is particularly moderate to somebody who actually is moderate and wants to reform it. And Bibi, I think of Taqiyya, and I think it would be very helpful for people in general to understand what it means and how it interacts with dawah and things and other concepts in Islam. And maybe Phil has internal knowledge and can provide internal critique with examples from the Islamic law would be very helpful, just in general.
I think I might be able to give Sahana.
Or I also know it from.
Oh, so who did you just say? Sorry, I didn't hear your name that you mentioned. Did you mention anybody?
Phoenix. I think you know. Phoenix.
Yeah, but Phoenix is not in the room. So
yeah, but I'm just saying, just in general, somebody, but educating people about that concept, what it represents, because it is a very murky concept. There's a lot of gray area and room for interpretation. So people kind of massage the concept and say, well, no, it's not really, it's only like bodily harm. And, I did an experiment fairly recently, a couple of weeks ago, when I, kind of interacted with ChatGPT on the concept. And it was very quick. I was very general in my request. I was extremely quick to pinpoint certain aspects of it that I didn't even bring into the conversation, and trying to basically tell me, no, that doesn't exist in Islam and doesn't happen at all. But when was pressed a little bit and with some quotations from Quran, it started agreeing more and more with me. So I think it's important for people to understand what the concept means and how it interacts with their general ideology.
And the specimen of moderate Muslim is only obtained under external westernized pressure. This is the only way you get moderate Muslims, because when Islam takes over, you automatically have a very rigorous, more to the letter kind of Islam, because that's the true nature of the religion. They're dragged easily into it and they don't have like any problem. But when you have like someone in a foreign country, westernized country, because they have to work, because they have to show a good face, because there's this external influence of Western values, then you get a non-reliable moderate Muslims, because they will not be there if there's suddenly a caliphate in France. They will not help the non-Muslim escape or be saved from decapitation. Let's say if we take an extreme example, but they're already not acting. Like, do you see like an international association of moderate Muslim trying to catch their own terrorists? No, because they agree deep down that this is a way where Allah is acting and executing his plan to punish the disbelievers. So they're non-reliable. You want moderate Muslims? You just keep the Muslim community weak and scattered. That's the only way to obtain moderate Muslims. Unfortunately, when they have like a concept of relationship with the country they're living in, based on domination and invasion, colonialism, that's the only way to deal with them, unfortunately.
This is why I always say that there is no such thing as moderate Muslim. There is only Muslims, right? And then the reason why Muslims are able, or quote unquote allowed, to be moderate is just because they're protected by the laws of the land. And this is why Aya says you need to keep them scattered, because when you keep them scattered, they don't really because they gain strength through numbers. And the strength that they gain is also like the tough guys, exert a lot of pressure and bulliness, on the others that want to maybe be moderate, as she's saying. But you get that when you keep them separate from each other. That's how you keep them weak. Because if you allow them all together, they will exert their power and they will exert their numbers. And there is no moderate Islam. There's not such a thing. Islam is not it's very contradictory, because it is a very strict religion, as in you cannot pick and choose, yet it is the most flexible religion you will ever see on the face of the earth. You can lie depending on the situation. You can do flexible marriage, a marriage of 24 hours, just if you want to have sex with someone, and then you are not married anymore. So it's like a very progressive, very, very flexible religion, but it's not a pick and choose. It's weird to understand, actually. It doesn't make sense. It's a religion based on exceptions, but not when it comes to the core teachings and the core things, right? Those you can never, ever refute.
Yeah, when people stop seeing it as a monotheistic Abrahamic religion and see it for what it is, a group that is worshipping itself, because in the core of Islam, Allah gave them the divine power to execute his plan. Therefore, you have people thinking that there are two types of human beings on earth, the Muslims and the Dhimmis, and they are just a political ideology. They're not waiting for God to give a sign, or it's not in the hands of God. It's in the hands of the Ummah, the collective group of Muslims, to decide what's going to happen. So it's a very dangerous ideology. So when people when people will stop giving it the religion, spirituality free pass, we will make some improvement.
In Australia, they just banned teenagers from using the internet, using social media rather, right? They can go as far as banning teenagers from using social media. But a few years ago, in the Sydney Opera House, when they were saying, fuck the Jews, right? These Muslims, in hundreds, were chanting, fuck the Jews. What did the Australian government do against them? Like, did they deport them? Did they arrest them? Did they ban them? I didn't see any action come out of that. And this shooting is just an outcome of being liberal towards Muslims in that country.
I don't know if it's one or the other or a nation, but so one of the options or one of the scenarios is like, okay, the governments or whoever is in power in these countries, either they are so weak towards enforcing the law in this group of people because they actually are liberal and they believe that's true Islamophobic or whatever, or number two is because they are actually afraid of them. And so these groups are making pressure.
Thoughts to our Jewish friends of Australia and around the world. This is really tough.
Thank you,
Did you read Daniel's PTR? It says over 24 hours, a Muslim killed 3 Americans in Syria. 5 Muslims arrested for plotting a massacre at a Christmas market in Germany. A Paris concert cancelled due to Muslim violence. 2 Muslims murdered 12 people at the Hanukkah party in Australia. Yeah, it's clear that Islamophobia is out of control.
Forget what happened in Morocco. People were half killed in Morocco by Muslims who get into this religion and they believe that God's gonna get girls into them behaving something like that.
And yesterday I sent, and I don't know if it was yesterday or 2 days ago, I sent Daniel a video of this Israeli comedian. What's his name? Do you remember, Daniel? I'm not good with names, especially not with like.
Sponder.
Yeah, he's hilarious. And he's pointing out the irony, right, in saying, I mean, when the Muslims say, oh yeah, because Israel is a colonizing power. And he's like, well, have you seen my country? You need to zoom in 17 times in order to find my country in a map. And not only that, but you cannot even fit the name Israel on the map. It's like, and you are saying that they are the colonizers when you see the whole Muslim world that have 56 or so.
Yeah, you can write Saudi Arabia with Saudi Arabia. You can write with double spacing, and you still have enough room. And I said, what do you? Of course, Saudi Arabia. What, Saudi Arabia? Well, maybe in 5 years.
Yeah. Maybe
but Ethan, just to be fair, it's not the size of the territory that binds the vigor and the forcification, but it's the actions. And you look, starting in 7th century on, Islam had been very open about how it wants to conquer the whole world, and it's been pretty forceful about it, militarily, physically, expanding its territory, expanding its influence and stuff. So I don't think that it's even a conversation.
Yeah, Juhadis was also saying before in the chat, for the Muslim, from the river to the sea, it just means from the Atlantic to the Pacific. Like these people are going for the whole world. And you're right, Andre. But the thing is that we want to say, oh, that's not really what they mean, like you're taking things out of context. they don't really mean that they want to conquer the world. It's just another religion.
It's on the same level as saying like, oh, it's submission or anything.
Right.
That's like
it will turn you into pieces.
Huh? Sorry, Aya.
Yeah, well, it means it'll turn you into pieces. That's not the right piece word we can name that.
But you know, honestly, like I'm more and more convinced that my hypothesis is correct in terms of that very toxic combination of expansionist mentality and the all-encompassing ideological foundation. Those two things together, they do not leave room for anyone else to exist, and so they become incompatible with anything, literally. Like nothing else can.
Some sects of Islam turned into ethno-religions like the Alawites and the Ibadites, and they are kind of okay because they don't have this expansion fantasy. That's true.
And you know,
the Sufis are also cool.
Yeah.
Sort of. But I think
your drink.
Daniel, I think you're hot micing.
Yeah,
but I think also why I'm more and more convinced with my hypothesis is because that type of proposition can be applied to other ideologies outside of Islam. So, for example, with communism, right, or fascism, it's all encompassing. It's expansionist, and it basically takes over all of the aspects of life, including like social engineering, political, everything.
That's not even like expansion through good ways, It's not even expansion through knowledge and, not forced conversion. It's expansion with war only.
Well, expansionism by itself is not necessarily. It doesn't necessarily become toxic. Like Christianity is also expansionist, but it allows the separation of like Caesar to like Caesar's to Caesar, and like spiritual to whatever, like your priest or your community and stuff. It allows that separation, and that what allows it to coexist with others. But when those two things are together, working in unison, then it's game over.
And the thing is that these ideologies are totalitarian inherently because they only work if everyone is. It doesn't work if one person doesn't adhere to it. The same with communism. I mean, you cannot have communism working if you have one capitalist bastard in the middle of that population. So you need to force people to be communistic. And that's the reason why, quote unquote, it has never been truly implemented. And the same thing with Islam. It doesn't work if one bastard doesn't believe in Muhammad. You have to force everyone. These are totalitarian ideologies that it's either everyone or no one. Well, I said no one, no, because that's the whole point.
Yeah, that's how you have peer policing in Sharia law, and you have honor killing, and you have apostasy laws in that.
Islam is far more powerful than communism because, one, it is a word of God and it has lasted 1400 years. Communism has barely lasted a century. But more importantly, in Islam,
communism is pretty powerful too, and it's very dogmatic.
In Islam, a Muslim's child will become a Muslim and start getting at the age of 5. In communism, you might get educated and you might dislike communism once you grow up to be 18. With Islam, it's impossible. You're brainwashed so deeply.
The problem is when you mix Marxism and socialism, communism with jihadism, that's where the danger is.
Shiva, also as being the victim of whatever socialist regime, I have to tell you that they are very, very good. In fact, a lot of tactics that we see in the Middle East with those jihadist organizations are learned from Soviets. because Soviets became masters of propaganda and brainwashing and stuff. The same thing with the Chinese government. They start in fucking kindergarten. You don't just get education. You get a very specific political education embedded in whatever you're learning in the classroom. So it's one and the same.
Tell me one communist who has 4 wives who can give birth to 30 children. Okay,
Shiva,
name one communist in the world.
Okay,
yeah,
so
you're missing the point.
Yeah, it's irrelevant to your earlier position, because what you're saying is like, in communism you might get an education, but you're allowed dissent. You're not allowed dissent. And in fact, they put you through struggle sessions. If you even voice any kind of dissent at the age of, I don't know, like in the first grade, in the second grade, they will get all of your, comrades in the classroom, and you'll be put through.
No family. It's to destroy that core of the family.
Exactly, they will self-destroy at some point in history. I was in a cab in New York a few weeks ago, and the driver was a Palestinian from the West Bank. And I asked him, like, how big is his family? He said, I have 8 sons. And I'm like, wow, that's a big family. All in America. They work as a mechanics in a garage. And I was saying to him, wow, that's a big family. He said, no, it's not a big family. My cousin who lives in the West Bank, he's a grandfather. He has 112 grandchildren. 112 grandchildren in the West Bank.
But they're probably not alive, all of them.
Well,
that's another thing. I mean, like they might reproduce a lot, but they'll die very young because they're just like doing all this bullshit. And that's why you have very young populations. And when people say, "Oh my God, the children in Gaza," it's like, yeah, well, they're all like super young, and they're giving guns to 14-year-olds, 13-year-olds.
And so this is why I also I would not be so quick to dismiss socialism and communism. They did go through the stage in the early, I think, 20s where they were trying to destroy the family as a unit because they saw it as something that would distract from the communist future. But they very quickly learned that the society is going to collapse into itself. So when Stalin came to power, he became extremely conservative about family values. And there was even a whole program, like a state program, that would give medals and special financial aid to women who had more, I think, than 4 children. It was called the Heroic Mother. Very similar, by the way, to what Nazis were doing. I think Nazis actually kind of adapted the technique from them.
Look how many Chinese we have in America, right? Chinese students. Are they blowing themselves up? They're all coming from a communist country. All the Russians who come to the US, they might be pro-Russia, they might be anti-Ukraine, but are they blowing themselves up on the streets of America?
No, nobody is saying that one is a mirror of the other. It's in principle, just like the manipulation and the propaganda tactics. Nobody is saying that Islam is a mirror of communism. But the methods they use in order to manipulate the minds of people is very similar.
I get it. My point is Islam is 10,000 times more dangerous than communism.
They're both dangerous. And you know why? Because Islam, you can recognize it. Liberalism and communism, not so much. I mean, people do a lot of things under communism or socialism, but because socialism is just like a lesser degree, right, than communism. But people do a lot of things in the name of the great, on the collective good. And so it is very disguised. A lot of people don't even know that they're supporting socialist ideas, but they are. Everyone that supports public education, public healthcare, tax collection, all of these are the path to socialism, the path to communism. And people might say, oh yeah, well, I'm not a communist. That's like, yeah, honey, you might not be there yet, but it's the same staircase. The difference is on what step you're on. Communism might be the top step of that escalator or of that staircase, and accepting taxes might be just like 2 steps on the staircase. But it's the exact same shit.
So, Isa, I would, I disagree with you on that point.
And that's why you have very young populations. I don't care. Oh my God, the children.
No.
Right now, they're all like super young, and they're giving guns to 14-year-olds, 13 years old. Are you there? You're running the Matrix.
And so this is why I also I would not be so quick to dismiss socialism.
Never gets offended. He is in the Matrix.
It's socialist or communist. And
can you repeat your whole point because you went in the Matrix?
Oh, so I would say that it's commonwealth is not a necessary path to socialism. Acknowledging that there is such thing as common motivation or common goals, that's not a path to socialism. I think that's just
when you transfer the wealth from the individual onto the collectivism, the collective. That is.
But that's not what commonwealth is. That's not what commonwealth.
Yeah, I never mentioned commonwealth. You brought up commonwealth.
But commonwealth, like all of the things that you're talking about in terms of education, state-sponsored programs, that is the idea of commonwealth as well. I mean, they share some features, but they don't necessarily mean they're the same. Well, I know you don't think so, but I think
no, because for Commonwealth, you don't need to steal money from one to the other.
Yeah, so it's incorrect to make such a generalization as saying that collecting taxes or redistributing taxes for commonwealth type of goals is necessarily leading to socialism. That's incorrect. And the second thing I would urge you is to make a distinction between liberalism and socialism, communism, because socialism and communism are in direct opposition to liberalism and the values of the liberal.
Yeah, and what did I say? That said that they were liberal.
You said that it's liberalism, socialism, and communism. You put them.
No, I didn't mention the word liberalism.
You did. I was listening, actively listening. You mentioned.
Oh, well, then I made a mistake because I thought that communism and socialism are the
not harping. Yeah, I'm not harping on that point. I'm just saying, just be. It's an easy slip to make because we file them in the same category of left of center.
And just by the way, commonwealth doesn't require a distribution of the wealth. Commonwealth just means like things or public spaces or common stuff that should be shared by everyone. That is a commonwealth. It doesn't mean that I am going to make a claim on your property to give it to someone else that needs your property. A redistribution of the wealth is not commonwealth.
Are you collecting taxes in the commonwealth to redistribute it for the common good?
No, but again,
that's your
commonwealth doesn't redistribute the wealth.
So exactly. So this is why those are two completely different motivations and should not be filed.
Correct. And I never mentioned commonwealth.
Collect the taxes. Isa, I'm just telling you that you need to be in terms of the way you define things. It will be helpful if you do a little bit sharper.
Socialism is a redistribution of the wealth. You take forcefully from someone to redistribute to someone that doesn't have. Commonwealth is not that. Commonwealth could be some sort, let's say, of crown property that everyone makes use of it. That is not a redistribution.
Yes, please come again.
Yes, Daniel, we agree with you.
I wanted to come on for a second, if I could.
Hi,
guys. I have spent the morning, I can't even begin to tell you what is going on now because it's the first night of Hanukkah here. And there's, very large public displays where we have menorahs in public places and we have community leaders that light them and beautiful programs. I mean, we do this every year. And I mean, there's one almost every night. So it's just been, as well as people that are having them in restaurants or in private homes that are whacking out and incredibly nervous. So again, I live in a state that's a gun-friendly state, and people have learned to shoot, and we have shooting classes, and we've helped people get self-protection, but not all the states in the U.S. are this way. And clearly, to my Canadian friends who I really worry about, and Bibi, I don't know if he's on or not right now, and Rena, I mean, very, very concerned. So it's just a week of trying to now put all of this infrastructure that for the last few years we've been putting in place and putting it to work. But you have to be very diligent and very aware. Luckily, a lot of the local police departments have been exceptional, as well as the counterterrorism units that are part of FBI and fusion centers. If you saw what happened in Rhode Island, the fusion center there kicked in right away and got involved in it. But that's, we can't have any of these events without significant police presence. Significant.
Abby, you're just pointing out exactly why not exactly why, one of the reasons why I'm incredibly paranoid about some of the gatherings. Like, there was even a basketball, celebration in Toronto, and some gunman was there. So I've never really participated in large group activities like the Boston Marathon. I have an incredible, mass shooting, Ariana Grande kind of paranoia. So, but what's happening in Toronto is they're going to be having a Hanukkah demonstration in a Jewish area where there have been Palestinians walking around with Nazi signs calling Jews Nazis, like calling for a genocide without police enforcement whatsoever. So we're in Canada where they recognized the Palestinian state before the terms actually came to bear, before hostages were released. So all the terms that the government said the Palestinian Authority had to adhere to weren't, and then they started raising Palestinian flags in Toronto, and now there's going to be another celebration of Hanukkah in the Jewish area where there are still protesters doing counter demonstrations, not against Israel but against Jews. So I appreciate you coming on stage and mentioning Canada, but this is like an ongoing issue in the Commonwealth. Speaking of Commonwealth, in the UK, in Australia, in Canada, because all those dumb motherfuckers are supporting, governments in charge, the ones that have been indoctrinated since the 90s to support this sort of Marxist jihadist agenda. So that's what we're dealing with. America, you guys are safe for now, but I'm very concerned about what's going to happen.
They're not that safe.
They're not that safe.
They're hold on. So like, I hear this, and I hear this from your group, and it pisses me off. Like, you shouldn't be feared. They're not safe in America. Fuck, there was a guy who fucking basically mall walkers that were Jewish got sprayed down and lit on fire. So like, that shit is going on in America as well whenever Jewish people gather. My argument is that you've taken the nice approach. You tried to be humane. You tried to be passive. You tried to pacify all the critiques and criticisms. And you face a more verbal onslaught. You face a more direct attack. And then you have like Muslim leaders going, oh, we condemn the attack. But then tomorrow they're going to go right back to the rhetoric of anti-Semitism, targeting, oh, anyone from Israel, everyone with an Israeli descent is, Nazi or whatever fucking shit they're going to say. Stop being passive. Stop being that. Let your warriors off. Let the men who want to fucking support you.
1,000%.
Let them go out there and take the souls from their body, let them go meet whatever fucking sky daddy they pray to, and end their bloodline and say, here you go. You want to target
stigmatism here.
Okay.
And people,
well,
okay.
I mean, I'm not
it's not. Guns aren't illegal. You just need to be a legal gun owner, and like anywhere in the world. And the problem is that
you get arrested when you defend yourself in Canada.
Yeah, but that's okay. Would you rather be judged by 12 or carried by 6? I'd rather be judged by 12.
It's difficult in some parts in the United States, like in New York City. I mean, I just left a whole group of people, including some Canadians, but people are taking lessons. They're learning to shoot. They're buying guns. I mean,
self-defense, guys. The number one thing is you gotta be out there in the open.
I know how to shoot a gun, and I have.
No, it's not about that. You gotta be out in the open. The problem is they win when you're afraid to go to these protests. When you're afraid to go outside, they're like, look, they're scared. And then what they, you can, I know you've already voiced your opinion on that a couple years ago, but it's not about that. The point is, then they start walking into streets in Thornhill and Bathurst and Shepherd, and they start walking down public streets and terrorizing Jews because Jews are afraid to go to those events. You need to show them that you're not fucking afraid of them.
I mean, to the same extent.
And if you have to run one or two over, you run the fuckers over.
Baby, when you say to the same extent to Christians need to go to the markets in Germany. They have to.
Yeah, everybody's got to get the fuck out of their house.
They have to be able to go to the Christmas markets. Like, we can't stop doing this. It's the same thing. I mean, Issa, we talked about this after the attack in Germany. You can't just not do it, but you have to be vigilant, and you have to also do a lot of background. I mean, we have plate readers. We read license plates. We know. So we're able to pick up. We have facial recognition. I mean, we're on top of as much as we can, but to say not to gather is also cowardly. You have to gather smartly.
I'm not saying not to gather. I said this was one of the reasons for me personally. Secondly, you guys are talking, you're talking about people being naive and not defend yourself, but you're also not looking at the larger picture. We're literally dealing with governments who aren't protecting their Jewish communities, so that's fine. You want to have the Jews and the Christians get together and get their guns and defend themselves, that's fine. I support that. I support that. But I'm saying that in Canada, anyone who defends themselves, they go to jail. Not the people.
That's anywhere in the world, young lady. That's anywhere in the world.
Where we have the government in power that's supporting the jihadists.
Rena, so
Rena, hold on. Rena is not saying anything outrageous. That is exactly what's happening in the UK as well. In the UK, somebody denounces a Muslim for rape, and the one that is being put in jail is the woman denouncing them for anti-Semitism, for Islamophobia. You know, so that is the thing. I mean, like,
I don't see a problem with the fucking million Muslims that are marching, guys.
Hold on, baby. Europe and Canada, they work backwards.
So I just want to say this. No, that's not true, though. It's not wait, hold on. So your fear is, I'm going to go to jail or I may die, and that's true. You may get killed. You may go to prison. You may get beaten. But is it better to be beaten? Would you trade all this time and all that effort and give it all up because you're being targeted now? Would you live in fear for the rest of your days and acquiesce to this, or would you stand and fight? Wait, no, I let you go, but let me finish. We all have responsibility. I have children too.
I'm not going to sacrifice myself for my community.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. So you know what? Go ahead. Everybody can cut. She can cut everybody off. I'm saying you're going to live in fear the rest of your day, and your family is going to live in fear. Your family is going to be targeted. You're going to suffer what your decision. Okay, there you go. That's fine. I get it.
So you can speak in generalities, but don't speak for me or me.
He's not speaking for you, but you're speaking for people in general.
You're saying to live in fear. That's not where I'm coming from.
Well, it sounds like that.
I'm saying to look at the top-down issues, which is like what Issa was saying, is that we're dealing with a larger issue here than just people going to rallies. Like, it's a bigger problem. And I'm just trying to get you to acknowledge that and to see, like, what do you do about the fact that women who are, accusing gang rapers who are Pakistani Muslims in the UK, and there's no enforcement. We have a larger societal issue in Canada, UK, and Australia.
Nah, man, that's not true, though, guys. I've Baptist and Shepherd for the past fucking 107 weeks. For 700 fucking days, I've seen one of the most powerful, strongest women in Canada show up every fucking Sunday to protest for our hostages to come back, stood there day and night and protest loud and proud without fear, and went to their Instagram, went to their Facebook and said, fuck you, we're Jews and we're not going anywhere. And they went there and made themselves uncomfortable, put themselves comfortable in uncomfortable situations, not for them, for their children and their grandchildren. They did it selflessly to show that we're not afraid of you. Even if they are afraid, they're showing them, fuck you. We're gonna show up and we're gonna march every fucking Sunday. Whether it was raining, there was no excuse that they didn't show up. They showed up every fucking Sunday.
The other thing that you do is what I just finished doing this past week, is you go to your legislators, you go to Washington, you knock on fucking doors, and you tell them that you
knock on fucking doors.
People from coming up to the front of the synagogue and trying to attack it in the name of free speech. And you get your congressmen, you get your local representatives, and when in Canada you go to your representatives and you try to enact laws, because Rena, if you think it's from the top and it's a bigger issue, then you've got to attack the bigger issue by the rule of law in the nations that you live in. And you go to your representatives and you done it.
Did that. I was
and continue to do it. Just so continue to do it. It's not a one-shot deal. And unfortunately, you have to spend another year.
I can't even get into why it was, but yeah, no, I'm still engaged politically. Yes, it's not something I speak of, but that's like really the only way to, like, okay, fine, rally at a protest, fine, good, great, that's great. But like the people who are in power, I agree with you, Abby. That's exactly where it needs to go. But anyway, I'm not.
What do you think?
People that are in power are going to these protests. Michael Kersner, he goes every Sunday. Melissa Lantsman, she's the member of parliament, MP, she goes every Sunday. They go there to see, and it makes them proud, and they get to go with chutzpah whenever they go and fight Congress, and they fight the government. What?
That's their job to go.
So what? You know how many fucking politicians don't do their job? But now they see that there's people that they have to fight for that are putting them to account and holding them to accountability. And they're like, look, if we're fighting, you need to fight even harder for us. And they're proud to fight for them because they see.
I don't know. If you're so scared, just move to Israel. I don't know. Like if you're so scared.
I'm not talking about my kids.
So just move to Israel then. I don't understand. You are talking about being scared. You are. Just go.
I'm saying that I do not go to that.
You laughed because you kept getting cut
That
off.
was just one of them.
I already texted him again to come back.
Me personally, I'm not going to let these people scare me ever. Never have, never will. Even before today, none of this is new. This is not new news, what these people do. A terrorist attack is not a new thing. We already know this already. So, it's either you're scared, you live in fear the rest of your life, which that's what they want. That's exactly what terrorism is. Or you don't live with fear, because life is too short to live with fear and too sweet to live with fear. So I would never. Doesn't matter if I have a gun or not to protect myself. But there's always solutions for everything. So can't sit here and cry about it because that's not going to do anything.
I don't know who you're talking about. So I'm not crying about it.
Oh yeah, you weren't? No, sounded like you were.
No,
Did anyone say in the room? I talked to Rowan last night, right after I heard this. He was in Melbourne. He's fine. He's trying to reach everyone. I have friends that are in Sydney, and then all of a sudden I see the picture of Arson with the blood all over his head. I mean, which is just like mind-boggling to see that. Have they released the names?
I'm not
I just
sure.
heard the rabbi.
He was saying that it was a Pakistani and an Afghani, but I don't think they released the names of the attackers.
They released the names of the shooters. Yes, they did.
The shooters, Pakistani and Lebanese, maybe. I thought
Pakistan, and then was in Afghanistan. So he migrated. He was like originated in Pakistan, went to Afghanistan, from Afghanistan went to Australia, and he was like, there was some Boston sort of thing going on. You can look it up.
So how do you feel about Trump's policy now to check social media back a couple years before someone comes into the country?
I mean, I'm
100%.
And to vet it.
You don't think they already do that, Abby?
Yeah, I mean, to some extent now under this administration.
They also check your eye. They do that. Like if you're not American, they they do the eye thing. I don't know. There's mega security. They didn't do that to Canadians before, but now that they're coming through Canada into the States, So now they're doing it to everyone coming in from Canada too.
What are they doing?
They're like registering your what's the things in the eyeball?
Your retina?
Yeah. They're screening it and they're saving it and they're using it as identifiers in the event that you've been, like you're in some sort of larger database.
So it's like more than a fingerprint, huh? Because a fingerprint you can change, I guess.
Yeah, no, it is. It's much more. Yeah, it's definitely like a firm fingerprint, but I don't care because I'm not a terrorist, so it doesn't matter to me. But that's something they didn't do to Canadians before. But now with the Carney's policies, for sure, I totally agree with it. Everything America says that's bad about Canada or Canadians, I actually 100% agree with. But anyway,
I had my last trip to the UAE going in. I had to take my contacts out right at the entrance. It was weird. They just, and they did the retina scan, but they wouldn't let me in the country unless I took the contacts out. I wonder if that's what they'll do now coming in, if they do a retina scan here.
To America?
Yeah.
No, they won't do it if you're American.
No, I mean for a foreigner coming in, if they're doing a retina scan, if they do that.
Yeah.
I wonder how soon what we are seeing is these ice raids. I wonder how soon that's going to start in Australia or anywhere in Europe.
Never.
They've actually been deporting.
Why do you say never?
Quietly. They have been deporting people quietly from Australia, from Europe, from Canada, just very quietly because of the amount of political, because the population are not happy with that idea. So it's not hasn't been publicized, but if you were to Google it, you'll see that there has been a lot of deportations already.
Wow. It's such a polarizing topic here in the
but
U.S.
Not that clearly.
Right. It's such a polarizing topic in the U.S.
In the States, that people don't want to get rid of illegal migrants. I've been waiting 15 years to get to America legally. Why do they get to jump the line? Do I have to fly into El Salvador and through Mexico to get it?
You should try to fly so you get points. No, the New York Times, they must have a reward out there because they have endless stories about a girl who was, came here at the age of 4, finished high school, was a great student, now in college. Oh, at the airport, she was flying home. Oops, she was detained by ICE. That is the story that we are reading in the New York papers consistently, how unfair the whole thing is. I guess, and these kids are called dreamers.
That's not unfair. If you come into a country illegally and don't go through the proper channels to guarantee that you are there legally, it's called, it's called fair, actually. That is fair that you get kicked out of the country.
Yeah, well, it's a very polarizing topic here.
Yeah, I understand that.
No, it's only polarizing for the lefties that disagree with it.
They just think that there should be open borders and it should be this mass.
No, it's not. I guess they want an
You
exception.
saw what happened in Colorado, right? The guy who threw the fucking fire bombs on the old Jewish people that were just marching for the hostages that they were doing every single week. That guy came in he came in with a regular travel visa, overstayed his travel visa, and he was here in the country illegally, and it was during the Biden administration. I mean, imagine how many more of these motherfuckers are here right now.
Right.
So yes, they should deport every one of these motherfuckers. I don't care if they're part of Hamas, Hezbollah, it doesn't matter. They all need to be deported.
They said one of these ships was a watch list in Australia.
Of course it was.
Yes.
Because if they did anything to go and actually find this guy and take him into custody, something would be called Islamophobic. And in Australia, they can't have that. They can't be Islamophobic there. No.
that's mostly the urban centers that are full of a lot more electricals, like Canada, like the States. But the rural areas, they're actually very nationalistic, Christian, actually. Just the city centers like Sydney and Melbourne that are causing history. Anyways, this isn't new. I mean, look what just happened. When was it? The holiday in the UK. Like, all the jihadists are using Jewish holidays to. They're like, oh, great, they're all in one place.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's not new. Like, from when I was a little kid, I mean, I remember seeing police at my synagogue, for Yom Kippur and all the high holidays, like, all the time. So I just don't understand, and it was even before then also. So, I mean, I just don't understand where the mentality, especially after what's happened in the last couple of years and all the fucking anti-Semitic shit that goes around the internet and all this vile shit that people put in their heads and they've brainwashed the world with. They just think it's okay to just go to, and I saw some videos of some people just, inside of the celebration there on the beach, and it was a lot of people, and it was people with their kids, family.
It is a Jewish area, actually.
So it's just scary.
Event shit that happens there. But you know what? You want to talk about naivete? How about the naivete of the Jewish communities in Canada, UK, and Australia, thinking that they can just go and gather without security, that the government's going to protect them, that the police are going to be there and enforce it, that they're actually doing their jobs with intelligence and making sure there aren't jihadists that are like swarming around Jews and Jewish events. Like, that's what's been going on. In the UK, they had holidays and there was a shooting there. In Australia, Bondi Beach, shooting there. I mean, the government has been enabling it, and the Jewish communities of Canada, UK, and Australia are naive to think that they can do these things without more security. We had security before, now they need more, because the government certainly isn't going to help them.
Well, that's exactly my point.
Or they need to get out.
They feel like so safe around a government that will never protect them. So yeah. I don't know.
We had an MP here who was celebrating Hanukkah, one of the fucking Liberal parties, Mr. Housefather, who's like the token Jew of the Liberal Party, and he made this announcement saying, Happy Hanukkah, just so you know, Canada is one of the safest places for Jews. Not really, no. Why are all the Jewish communities under threat every single weekend? Why are there...
Who did that? Who did that?
Housefather.
Uh-oh.
He just posted on Instagram. It's like, no, it's not. Like, it's just a matter of time. But
we need more guys like Roman Barber, bro.
Why can't the governments be sued for not enforcing the law?
Sued currently, actually. There are many lawsuits against them right now. Human rights lawsuits about them not enforcing the law, not enforcing hate crimes. Did you know that the person who's in charge of the hate crime unit in Toronto, Canada, went on public, like in a video, saying how October 7th led to a number of reverts? This is the head of the hate crime unit. The one that's supposed to protect the Jews.
Well, obviously that's a joke. Obviously that person's a joke and the hate crime unit is a joke.
Yeah, no kidding. But yet again, you have the naivete of the Jewish community thinking, we're in a Western country, the government's going to protect us, we pay taxes.
Look, you're right, Rena, but there's a reason why, every synagogue, to fully make it secure, could end up spending another money. Let me finish my sentence. The cost is $300,000.
Doesn't matter. Government gives out a grant right now for $195,000 to every single synagogue that applies. The problem is the motherfuckers aren't applying. They're giving them there's grants for every single synagogue for security, and they're not applying. Yeah, they're not.
Why would you not apply? I don't know.
Because they're ignorant. Because they listen. As much as I love our people, they're saying Hashem will protect us. During the crazy,
it doesn't make sense.
What do you doesn't make sense? I'm telling the security sector here. I know what's going on. There some people that are taking the money, and then they're getting security companies, and then there's good Jewish IDF soldiers that run good security companies here. They refuse to use them, and they're using the brown guys that are like charging $18 an hour, and they're using them, and they don't do shit. And the people that actually know what they're doing, they don't want to use them because they're like, it's too much money. But you're fucking getting the money free from the government to pay for it, and they're not.
I mean, how do they actually give the grants?
No, they give the grants. I helped a couple of schools get it.
You're teaching me about things I didn't know. And I didn't know that. I haven't heard that happening in the U.S. my
Why
friends.
should there be a Jewish tax, though? The Jewish tax being that we have to pay for Jewish schools, plus we have to pay for our own security.
Well, that's what we're talking about.
But our Jewish schools aren't accredited.
Yeah, we know it's. Hey, by the way, Rena, anti-Semitism is bullshit too. We know that.
No kidding.
So
but
we're
the
past
Muslims,
that.
they gotta pay for them too, guys. Come on, it's not. You know, unless it's a Catholic or Christian school, the government's gonna pay for it. But Jewish schools aren't paid for it. But they also don't. The Jewish school also doesn't fall into the curriculum, so they don't give. There's a big problem with that too.
In America, it's different, bro. I mean, because they have private Catholic and Christian schools too, and Jewish schools are considered private.
No, you have to pay too for some private Catholic schools, but there's no funding for the Jewish ones.
Most of the synagogues here, they have protection. There's even a Jewish day school here where I live. Every day there's a fucking sheriff officer parked in front of the fucking. You can't even get inside without passing by him. So it's all fenced off and everything. That's on the establishment themselves to make sure that their congregation,
100%.
and their students are all fucking safe.
Yeah. So there's a Jewish school on Chess Almas that's been shot up 4 times.
I've served in the U.S.
That
national
has
security apparatus.
24-hour police car in the parking lot. But all of these congregations, I know of other congregations, they call like for Hanukkah, they call for Yom Kippur, they call for Purim, and they'll send police officers. But the problem is they're not doing it. And I'm not joking now when I'm telling you, they say Hashem will protect us. It's the crazy. Yeah, Hashem will, but you give you free will. You have to kind of make decisions for yourself.
Yeah, like people like your cousin, bro, who have companies like that. If I was the leader of a congregation, those are people that I would hire more than the police, actually, to tell you the truth, because even the police are still not super reliable, to tell you the truth. There's school shootings that happen here in America, and they have police officers in the school, and they still happen. The one that happened in Texas a couple years back, the police officer ran away from the school.
Wow.
They were running away. That's why I don't trust the police.
It's like Shomrim in Brooklyn. Shomrim in Brooklyn show up a lot quicker than the cops do.
Yeah, so we have Shomrim here in Canada as well, like that my family's involved in. And same thing, they show up first. They're on scene of like every one of those protests, as well as like Herut's Tactical Solutions. They've been to every single one of those events. But like, I don't know. It's like Jews have to defend themselves. I kind of understand what Rena's saying, but at the same time, we can't let it get to us. You know what I mean? But there's a lot of programs that are just not utilizing them. And they kind of want us not to. The government doesn't give a fuck. We have some good speakers, like Pierre Poilievre, the guy that was running against Mark Carney. His right-hand person is Melissa Lansman, who's a very proud Jew. And she's very loud and well-spoken. She'd be like second in command. She never, ever stopped. She keeps going to every Jewish event. She does everything, and Roman Daber. He also does that. He speaks up loud and proud. But these people, I don't know, man.
Yeah, they speak up, and they also lose popularity
because of speaking up.
That are speaking about the sort of radicalism that's occurring.
Yeah.
So they're also not in power, and they keep losing people from liberals that are having to walk over, trying to get a majority to.
They did.
I know they did, but we're not a majority yet. They still have one short.
I thought 3 walked over.
No, 2.
Oh, that's crazy. How fucked up.
Sorry, I missed your message before.
That's fine.
Like, even if you hear the gun minister, the firearm minister, the chief firearms, like, it's the
retard.
Oh my God, Harry, you have to check out this guy. Like, he talks about
He doesn't even know English.
He doesn't even know anything. He's never fired a gun. He knows nothing about fucking guns. They even caught him on a hot mic saying, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Like, the guy's...
Wait, this is a minister? What
he's in charge of the firearms, and he's banning a bunch of
country?
Crazy as shit, bro.
In the whole country or a
Yeah.
province?
Yeah, throughout the whole country.
He has no idea of like what
This is the Peter principle at work.
it is. It is. 100%. That's exactly what it is.
Phoebe, are you aware of the Peter principle?
No.
God.
It says everyone rises to their level of incompetence in an organization.
It's like he's maxed out because he's so dumb. Like
Exactly.
he can't actually do his job. He's reached his level of incompetence. But that's the whole Liberal Party, really. I mean, the only way that they're in power is by changing boundaries and like manipulating people and giving handoffs to their cronies. So they
Also, did you see the health minister, Rena?
Which one?
That lady with the
The
hijab?
fat one? The fat lesbian?
Yeah, she's fucking obese.
Fat trans obese lesbian.
And she's telling people how to eat. It's the
Has
funniest.
diabetes.
Yeah.
Sure.
You know what's pretty
Associated diabetes.
interesting is one prominent member of Mamdani's transition team is a trans woman. Yeah, is a trans woman rabbi, former rabbi.
No, current rabbi.
Sorry.
Trans rabbi.
Former member of a Hasidic community.
An anti-Zionist rabbi.
Right, that transitioned and is now a reform rabbi.
No,
and anti-Zionist. That is just...
This is like Idiocracy with...
I love that movie. You turned me on to that movie.
Like where the wrestler becomes, and then he just like hires the dumbest people to.
Yeah,
it's like that's the education minister. He's retarded.
Yeah, it has electrolytes.
Somebody's cousin.
That movie is priceless.
Yeah, well, now we're living it. It's prophetic, really. Yeah, I don't know. You got like a bunch of dumb people in power doing dumb things, destroying civilization. I mean, it's not really a good time.
And whose only qualification is that they're DEI hires.
Oh, God, don't even get me started on that. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. They're not competent in what they do.
Well, the Liberal government botched that now. They started letting go of all the minorities and women, like, first thing, because Justin Trudeau is crap. Now he's dating Katy Perry.
Yeah, how's that working out for him?
Really great. I mean, they're both stupid, so obviously I think it's a perfect match. Seriously, they're both dumb. So it's actually a match made in heaven. I think it's gonna work.
This is this is what I have to think about Pierre Trudeau. Let me get it up.
I mean, I was hoping he'd crawl under a rock and disappear forever, but no.
This is what he wore when he went to the Biden White House.
I can't see.
Well, it's just
Was he wearing his blackface or Indian?
No. So I'll describe it. Others can look at it. These really beautiful brown shoes, although he completely destroyed it with blue shoelaces.
Oh,
and then he has
the rainbow socks.
Then he has red, white, and some darker blue socks, and then he has a beautiful blue suit. So each of these separately are beautiful things. Together, it's like a mishmash of color. It's just like the shoes are wonderful. The suit is wonderful. The socks are kind of interesting, but I would never wear them. But he put them all together, and literally all the cameras went from taking pictures of his head to taking pictures of his feet.
Socks. Yeah, he's a clown. Destroyed Canada. Now Mark Carney's worse. Have you read Mark Carney? I've read the prologue. You should take a look at that because he's actually dangerous. He's like a Hitler in the making.
That's scary.
He's really dangerous if you listen to some of his rhetoric. don't know how he's managed to get into positions of power such as he has, because the guy's insane. And I don't understand how people can read his book and listen to his rhetoric and think that he should run a country. Like, he destroyed the UK economy, according to the former Prime Minister of the UK.
Wait, how did he go from UK to Canada? Does that work in the Commonwealth?
He was born in Canada, and then he was working as the chief of the UK Bank of England. And he, according to the Prime Minister, destroyed the economy there. Then he went to go lead some other investment books or something in the United States. And he's been in the United States for 10 years. And then the Liberal Party flew him in because they needed to get rid of Justin Trudeau. And Pierre Poilievre was like leading in the polls. But the minute that they flew Mark Carney in, they voted him in Prime Minister within themselves. Okay. And then had an election and convinced the Liberal supporters that he was going to be different. And shit. Sorry, on the highway. And then managed to convince the Liberals that he was going to be different from Justin Trudeau, and then he won somehow. And then he had to, get rid of his American citizenship. Like, he hasn't been in Canada for 10 years, and now he's the Prime Minister.
Wait, why did he have to get rid of it?
Because you're not allowed to hold multiple citizenships when you're Prime Minister of the country.
Problem. I wonder how that works. You just write a letter and send it to the State Department, I renounce my citizenship, and send them back your passport?
Yeah. Whole process.
Or you go to court? I wonder how that works.
No, you do not go to court. You just fill out a form, pay a fee, submit a passport.
Brookfield.
I woke up this morning at 5:30 and I'm like, holy shit, what happened in Australia? I was like, is this real? Like, did this really happen? I was
Nothing
really
surprises. Nothing surprises me anymore. That's a normalization of
my
this.
daughter, so yeah, it's a bit shocking because when I went there, it was so peaceful. I can't tell you how lovely Bondi Beach is, and like the idea that there was a shooting on that beach is unfathomable to me still. Like, I'm so
Isn't that the A+ beach to go to? Like, if you said I want to go to, if you said to a travel agent, I want to go to Australia and go to a beach and like just hang out on the beach, wouldn't they like book a place and they would say go to Bondi Beach or Bondi Beach, however you pronounce it?
Bondi. I would not say it's like the best beach in all of Australia, but in Sydney it's a tourist destination point, and it's like, how do I describe it? What are the Hamptons for you? Like, it's just like, it's a very high end tourist destination point, very popular, and also lots of Jews in the area. There's a lot of Jews, so it's beautiful, and a lot of people hang out there. I guess it's like a Central Park kind of thing, like, you know, Upper West Side kind of thing, but like off a beach. The beach is not that swimmable, but it's just a very popular place. It's in the city, so you can take a bus there. It's convenient. And lots of people hang out there. I mean, and a bunch of hippies. They hang out there like every Saturday or Sunday, and they're doing like drumming circles. It is a very peaceful place. There's never any violence. Australia in general is usually like, people are very chill, and they're not used to the international kind of like world. They're very isolated there. They're very, but it's definitely going to shift things. I hope, and I hope it gets the Liberal Party of power. I mean, the Liberal Party there is the Conservative Party, so I hope it gets Labour out of power and gets a more conservative government. But let's see what happens to New York, right? I mean, Mandami is not exactly a Jew supporter. I mean, what happens when you elect a jihadist for the biggest Jewish community in the United States, and he then hires all of his jihadist Marxist cronies into positions of power? What do you think is going to happen in New York? I mean, that wasn't a rhetorical statement, but just my concern.
What's going on? Alpha? What's going on, buddy? Aleph, how are you? Oh, J-Lo. Hi. Jihadi. Hi, Danny. Hiya. Oh. What's up, everybody? It's in the audience. Should we change the title of the room? Get it pumping in here? What's up, Danny?
You should leave it for them.
What? You're the leader?
You should leave.
Hey, Danny, sorry for your loss.
Mm-hmm.
What happened, J-Lo? What happened, Danny?
I don't know how she found out anyway.
Are you okay? What happened? Should we have a party?
Definitely not.
What happened, Danny? Your goldfish died? Fuck, I don't want to beg. What happened? Danny. She left. What happened, J-Lo? Don't tell me Nemo died?
Yeah, she lost somebody in her family.
She did?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah. I'll let her tell who she wants.
Yeah. Respectable.
Okay, so
Was it a pet or a human?
A human.
Oh, fuck.
Don't have to assimilate to American culture when they come here. Asking them to do so would be Islamophobic, right?
Guantanamera.
My name is Julie Bishop.
So I woke up this morning reading about
Australia, reading about the school shooting.
Wow, I still can't believe the news, and I woke up to a bunch of texts, but wonder what Amirjam's going to be about today.
Gentle with yourself.
This time, deals are. Rena's back. Guess who's back?
Stronger.
Back again.
I mean,
Rena's back. Rena's back.
the room just by talking.
Is that what happened? Because I was like playing on, I'm doing work on a computer, and I looked down. I heard you talking, and then I looked down again, and I'm like, you were asking a question, nobody responded. So I'm like, did everybody leave? I'm like,
well, because I apparently can be very intense when I start speaking.
oh yeah, extremely
I find that
intense.
really uncomfortable.
It's unsettling. Yeah.
Exactly. Just like starts to like boil up into internal grief and emotional anguish, and then they get uncomfortable because they don't know how to respond. And also, I overtalk everybody, so I don't really give anyone an opportunity to say anything. Once I get started,
It's hard to stop.
yeah, I mean, I'm in the car and I'm drinking coffee. What else am I supposed to do with my time?
Yeah.
Overtalk people.
Nice.
And also the room itself, like I'm in the car, I can't fix the room. So if people want to come out, I can't let them up. I mean, they can't. It's not a listening room, so nobody can come up.
Absolutely. You got what in your pants? What's up, Professor? Come on up.
Hey, are you guys sleeping? I'm like, why is no one talking?
No, we're doing 18 minutes of silence.
Oh, I'm gonna join you guys in the silence. I'm sorry.
No problem. Well, we're done. We're done. We're done. Do you want to talk about something? We're talking about dreams. What was your dream last night?
I don't remember, but I did wake up to the news of Australia, and I'm just angry.
Okay.
I don't know. Words can describe how I feel.
Absolutely.
We record a book right here.
It's just tiring. This is tiring.
I'm just anticipating what Amir's room's going to be like today, later. Amir.
Nothing. They just have all these excuses.
Do you still go into his room? Does he allow you in?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Every day.
Oh, he won't let me in. I haven't been in his room in like 6 months.
No.
I don't even go anymore. It's disgusting. What do you like? You're not gonna convince that dude of anything, you know? Like.
No, it's not there to convince them. I'm hoping that I frustrate them enough that they
go there.
No, I'm hoping that I frustrate them enough that they have an aneurysm.
No, they're just.
No, I'm serious. That's what I'm hoping.
They're like, no. Well, you know when they were. Let me tell you. I mean, let me see who's in the room. There was a time where Amir, he was losing his marbles. That was the 12 days of the war, Iran-Israel war. It's so funny, like, and it just shows that this has nothing to do about Israel or the land, that this has to do with Islam, and their ideology. Because when they realized it was very close for IRGC to be like gone, they couldn't take it. He blocked me. Amir has never blocked me. He has always let me say whatever I want in his room, write whatever I want in his chat. I was blocked for a few days to a week. Once that war was over, he unblocked me. But I did get on his nerve, Nice. But that was the time that I think that was the only time they were close to having an aneurysm.
Gotta try every day. Every day.
I love it. I love it. But this thing is just so sad. I'm so angry. I'm angry.
Oh, I know. Everybody.
I made a post on Facebook. I'm like, bring back Islamophobia. Not that the word exists, but people need to talk about this shit.
Yeah.
Has anyone take the responsibility for it?
No, no clue.
My friends are in Australia. They were saying, I don't know. This was when I woke up. I saw chat comments. They were saying somehow someone was blaming it on IRGC, but I know they've already condemned that.
I heard something about Israel. If Israel finds that IRGC was behind this any which way, that I don't know how true this is. What I heard, somebody talking about this in a room earlier, that Trump will give Israel the green light. But I don't know. Don't quote me on that.
Well, if that is true, I think that would start like a war, like a real war. But I don't think they would do that. To be honest with you, Bibi, I don't see them. They don't want to go. They know this is going to be the end of them. Did we lose them? Are you there, baby, or on your phone?
I'm back.
Yeah.
They changed the title.
This is just disgusting stuff, and this is an example of why Pepper's gone. I wanted him to hear this, but he's gone. But this is why you don't give Mike to fucking terrorists.
What did I miss? Did I miss someone?
100%. We have to deplatform
He
him.
was in the room. I wanted him to hear me, but I wish I had just started talking before he leaves. This is why you don't give fucking Mike to terrorists and mock and joke. There are certain things you can't fucking joke. They first have to become history, then you can joke about anti-Semitism. But when we're dealing with this shit, I say we,